yesterday in the closing, Stefan Ekberg said, Stefan Ekberg said, out of nothingness comes innovation, right? So you actually went to nothing on April 2020. Tell us about the day that started it all.
Yeah, when the big red, dark COVID wave started to make its way west from China, it became more and more evident to everyone in the travel industry, but particularly to us, that this was going to be a small problem. And very clearly it became a very big problem very quickly. And with the business that I had built for 15 years with Mike, who's here as well, great business, great team, 600 people in Ireland, it was wiped out by COVID. I mean, it had a negative working capital model. It was funded essentially by its own profits, but also by forward bookings by consumers. And it was just wiped out. It had to be restructured around April 2020.
And that's when you lost the company?
Correct. I don't describe it that way. That's when new opportunities presented themselves.
Okay, but yeah, okay, you lost the company. And what did
new opportunities presented themselves.
What have you learned from that experience, and do you now approach decisions differently? Because that must be bitter, right? 15 years and then like that.
No, not at all. I'm very philosophical about it, actually. It was a very tough time for people, but in the end, like, everyone had their health. Everyone, I mean, in the end, the business recovered. Everyone kept their jobs. As a shareholder, I was wiped out, like a lot of others. There was a lot of money lost. But I did okay out of CarrTroller. I'm very thankful for the opportunity that it was, the fun that it was, and very proud of the legacy that's there now. And we've created thousands of jobs, and we've built a business that was doing, several hundred million ARR, and hasn't recovered to where it was. And I don't like where it is now, but I mean, I don't think there's anything negative about it. It's just inevitable when you're in an industry like travel that's cyclical. Some swans appear and they're the wrong color. Right. So it's inevitable. So no, like I mean, I got over it pretty quick, and myself and Mike sat down.
I'm sure, because you were already doing Manna Drone.
I was already building. Yeah. I mean, I was on the board of CarrTroller. I was stepped out of an executive position. I was still providing strategy and kind of leadership stuff, but I wasn't. My day-to-day business was investing, in technology companies in the travel space usually, and building the stupidest or craziest business.
We'll get
that you could imagine, yeah. So, and then myself and Mike sat down and we said, you know what, actually, what we built in CarrTroller, again, very proud of it, and we did it the correct way at the time, but it's 20 years ago.
Right.
It's 20 years ago when we started it, and there's a better way to build it now.
And it became broken, right? So you said to me that when I asked you why did you go back to the car rental business, you said that I felt it was my duty to fix the damage that I caused. You said that the broker model is ugly, layers of intermediaries is of no value to the consumer, and that's why you started Meili Travel. So we've talked a lot about revenge travel. So is Meili revenge to what happened at CarrTroller?
Revenge? No. We pissed off a lot of customers in our past because of the broker business model. And we prioritized correctly revenue over NPS. And we essentially selling an insurance product. Most people aren't aware that car hire is the milk in the back of the store so that you can sell insurance. And that's the broker model, right? The broker model is pump and dump, transactional, see a customer once a year, and optimized for that. And the technology, it suits technology. If you're good with technology, then you can be really good at brokering. But in a marketplace where you have high-value loyalty customers of airlines, and we had 100 airlines as customers, and you had really terrible customer experience at the desk, really terrible customer tears, families not having the car when they arrive at the desk with 4 children in tow. And, it's not that we didn't care, we were powerless because we were competing with the very suppliers that we were partnering with.
So it was the nature of the model. So how are you fixing this with Meili?
With a pure technology model. So Meili now consists of 35 people, nearly all engineers, providing a pure
Are they
technology.
nearly all ex-CarrTroller?
Yeah, 90% of them are ex-CarrTroller and the others are Booking.com. So we poached. And this is something I'm actually very proud of because this is my 6th business that I've started up. And I'm very proud that people that have worked for me for nearly 30 years are still, stupid enough to continue working with me. And I consider the team in CarrTroller my friends and people that I've built many businesses with before. And, business is just a virtual collection of people at a point in time. And the next version of that business is usually the same people, certainly the best people. And we have an amazing bunch of people in Meili now, and we've already signed 6 huge partners, 4 large airlines, all of the car rental supply in the world, and we're winning, and we're going to absolutely kill it.
So that's interesting because it seems to be a common theme coming through this human revolution is, the power of friendships actually that build businesses.
Yeah.
We've seen it at CarrTroller, we've seen it at various businesses, whether it's Klook or Get Your Guide or Agoda. So this male friendship.
And Mike
what
and
about
myself,
female friendships?
Mike and myself hate each other, but we started another business and it makes us become friends. And I was like, look at it, me and Mike, we were friends running CarrTroller for 15 years. And what did we do? We straight away go back to each other to do it again. Okay. And the team that are working for us, there's a bunch of them here. We're friends, with good pedigree in building technology. That synergy is very important because we're all taking risk together.
Yeah, I think it was somebody who said, you should work with people you admire, right? You shouldn't work with people you don't admire. So you say you're fixing the car rental model because the broker model is ugly, right? But the entire travel industry is packed with layers and layers of intermediaries. It's very ugly to the consumer, right?
Yeah.
So if you weren't fixing car rental, what else would you fix?
Travel?
Yeah.
That's a very good question. I think hotel search still doesn't work well. Honestly, I think there's a disruptive Booking.com killer with a team that have. There's new technologies now that exist that genuinely could do the work of 1 million humans and do it better than a well-organized data-founded company like a Booking or any of those guys. I'm not saying that that's going to be easy, but I think there's still very much so disruption available in our industry.
Especially now, would you say?
Oh yeah, like the thing is, the industry more so now than ever because up to now, prior to large language models and reinforcement learning and those types of technologies, what I would call foundational technologies, we're built on a layer of shite, right? A layer of really shitty systems that are disjointed and impossible, right? And I built a business before CarrTroller, putting lipstick on that pig, right? And I think that the disruptive technologies now, we can automate a layer not about APIs and normalization and aggregation. We can do the work that humans do, which is, it's not general intelligence, but it's smart enough that you could build a layer that can make a really well-informed opinion on what hotel is best for any given, customer or what itinerary is best. So I think there's a lot of disruption available. And I certainly, if I was doing nothing else, I would be 100% building another travel business, and I wouldn't be going for a niche. I'd be going right after the big guys with something foundational.
Right. So if you want ideas on the next Booking.com killer, come to Bobby today.
I have a few thoughts on that, but I was listening to Hafner. I sent you that podcast.
Yeah.
There's Steve Hafner Kayak did a podcast yesterday with Jason Calacanan. Can't pronounce it. And it's quite interesting, his views on AI, but most interesting is he believes, and I'm sure Booking believes, that they have so much power and strength and momentum that they can just take all the good ideas, build it in and scale it. I'm a believer in small companies toppling giants. And I've done it before, and I know lots of others that have done it. I do believe...
We've seen that in the history of travel, right?
Correct, yeah. Okay. I think it's doable, and I think people should be ambitious enough to say, let's go for the big guys. And I think that's doable, and particularly because of the ubiquitous availability of GPU, LLMs, and tech that really can, I think, ultimately, it's about solving pain for the consumer, right? And I just think still today, travel companies fail in that regard because I book my own travel. It's a pain in the ass.
Okay, so let's not talk about asses here. Now we're going to talk about drones and deliveries. Because
Drone
that's your
delivery
business.
of asses.
Anyway, everyone thought you were mad when you came to the WiT stage 4 years ago and you started saying, I'm going to build, the largest drone delivery business in Ireland or even Europe, and you have done it. So what do people buy? Talk about what it is you do. What do people buy and what's next?
So for people that don't know...
Can you mention coffee, please?
I will mention coffee.
No.
You're kind of giving it away now. So coffee is the number one thing we deliver by drone.
Okay.
It's 30% of our volume.
Okay,
hot coffee.
Bobby, I really tried to deliver hot coffee for you by drone, but I couldn't get a drone, so we got a human to deliver you coffie here.
So this is medium warm coffee. So yeah, by order volume, we sell about 6,500 different products that we've sold by drone delivery. But coffee is 30% of them. Latte is the number one, Americano, cappuccino. And interestingly, the average basket value in our coffee shop is more than twice what the average basket value is in the coffee shop itself. Because people are ordering for home delivery, we winch it to their...
Have you had any spills?
No, we don't spill it. Like even the little design that's on the foam is intact. It's a 2-minute, 40-second flight, and we use a LiDAR as a laser for altitude when we deliver, so we know exactly where the ground is relative to the aircraft. So we drop it very fast, but coffee doesn't mind gravity. But the last 8 inches we slow it down, and so we don't spill a drop.
It must be so incredibly complicated. Like you went from software to now like a software and hardware business, and the hardware part must be hard.
Hardware is famously difficult. Investors hate hardware businesses because they're difficult, they're iterative. Like you can't just build first version and get it right. That's not the way hardware works. It's an uncertain science. So you're iterating. We're on aircraft number 4 now, and we're still not finished. We're 5 years building. We're on our 4th version of our aircraft, structurally very, very different than our last aircraft. And we probably need one more iteration before we'll be perfectly ready to scale. It's difficult, and hardware that flies is even more difficult, right? Because you can build a washing machine and no one cares if it fails, right? If a drone fails, gravity takes over, right?
It's pretty visible.
Yeah, and we're flying over the most densely populated areas. Like every flight flies over 120 houses on average. So we're always
125
flying.
houses.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's in the first time in my life, I'm 112 years old now. It's the first time I've lost sleep worrying about a business. I've never worried before about a business.
You look at least half your age. So actually that leads me to a question, right?
Timothy O'Neill Dunn is older than me.
Women, we get complexes about aging, right? And we've become more vulnerable. And I wonder what a middle-aged guy like you...
Middle-aged guy.
I mean, how do you compete with the younger guys who are coming into the business? Do you get some complexes about that?
I bully them. I take advantage of their youth. I used to be that young guy, and I blinked, and here I am now, nearly the oldest person here. I don't think I'm any better or any worse doing what I do now. Like my first company, I was 18 years old, 17 years old when I started it. That failed, but every company since then succeeded. And so I started my second one when I was 20, and I don't think I'm any better, any worse now. I have less energy now. That's for sure. But I work 7 days a week. But now I have to go to bed like reasonably normal hours now, whereas I used to work all-nighters for decades.
So you've gone into the wrong business because now you're actually losing sleep over this business. So let's talk about, I know you're probably sick of this too, and we're going to run out of time. But as a techie, what do you think of all the current conversations around AI?
Most people don't know what they're talking about.
Do you?
A little bit more than most people.
All right, so tell us the little bit more that you know.
Well, I think what people should be focusing on is learning the technology first and not listening to the bullshitters. The technology isn't ready yet. LLMs, probabilistic models, all these things are super, really interesting technologies, but you shouldn't build a business on any of them yet until you understand their strengths and their weaknesses. And only when you understand truly what LLMs are, do you understand how to take advantage of them. And most people that I speak to have great ideas, but don't understand the underlying technology. And therefore, they're potentially going to make mistakes that others wouldn't make. which is not to say that I don't think that people are overstating the potential, but I think they're overstating their understanding of the underlying technology. And you can't build a product if you don't understand the infrastructure you're building it on. And I see a lot of
you're
people,
saying they should sit back, learn first before they start launching?
Yeah, I think they should spend some time, and they should. There's very little technology people that come with an AI background, transformers, LLMs, those kind of things. They're very hard to find. They're very rare, and they're paid a lot of money. So I think it's very, very important, really critical actually, that people get a better understanding for what the technology is before they start to pretend to be good at it.
So with Manna, though, Manna has a proper use case for AI, right?
Yeah, but it's simple AI, pragmatic AI. I call it. It's not LLM. It's computer vision, which is well proven stuff. So we use computer vision, and we don't use it for what you think we do. We only use it to know that the ground underneath us where we deliver is flat and inanimate. We don't need to understand it. We need no navigation. We have other ways to navigate. But you can use computer vision to know that there's a person or not a person. That's reliable. Because in a regulated world, everything has to be deterministic. And computer vision, AI is not deterministic. In other words, you never know, based on any given input, you never know for sure what the output is, right? So therefore, you couldn't rely on it for safety. So it's different. So I think, I think our use of AI is and always will be pragmatic. But if I look at Meili, right, the travel business, we use AI for understanding intent and being able to communicate with customers in a way that actually makes sense, where it's about language and it's about understanding and communication with an equally irrational device on the other side, which is the human, right? That's a great use of LLMs where the answer doesn't need to be exactly right.
And that was predictive analytics, right?
Predictive analytics, I mean, again, you know, reinforcement learning, deep learning, machine learning, whatever you want to call it, was very, very good, but very, very tight. It needed perfect data, it needed perfect understanding. So in other words, it did not want to work for you, and you had to work hard to make it work for you. LLMs are probabilistic. They'll always give you an answer that's nearly always right, and it's easy.
So they want to work with you.
Yeah, correct. LLMs want to work for you. Machine learning, reinforcement learning never wants to work for you. And you have to cage it and control it. And it's temperamental, so it's expensive to make it work. But
that sounds like a tiger. Okay, so let's engage the audience, and we're going to go to a poll on some predictions here. And maybe you could make a prediction on this as well. And the poll is, these are the 3 predictions that I picked out from our 2019 conference. So with AI, there will no longer be a user interface. Human-robot marriages will be legal by, was it 2050, I think? And then everything will be instantaneous, intuitive, and completely, the words are cut out. So which one would you bet on?
Well, human-robot marriages are already legal, I think.
No, they're not.
I married a robot.
Maybe in Ireland.
If you marry no, I'm not going to get into nationalities. My wife is Swiss. I'll say no more. This isn't going public, is it?
I think it's being live streamed.
Oh, it's being live?
Right now.
I know. So anyway. I think human-robot marriages would be first. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. We heard it here first. Okay. Well, you know, you're raising funds right now because you really need a lot of money. You've raised 50 million.
Just shy of 50 million so far. Probably need another couple $100 million to make it a viable business.
Okay. And what's the climate like? Is it frosty or tropical right now?
It's tough. We're not raising right now. We will be soon. And that's about powering the first stages of growth. So we're ready to start growing now across Europe. We have a European-wide license from the European regulator that allows us to fly beyond visual line of sight with multiple aircraft for people. So we actually have contribution-positive flights now, so we make money on a per-flight basis. So we want to do a little bit of scaling. Growing a business where you're producing aircraft that are certified, that is no light touch. So no, I'm very comfortable with our place. We have plenty of cash, but we will raise again to start going a little bit faster.
Okay.
And
so now you have 2 babies, right? So you got Meili and Manna. There's something going on with the M, you know. Which one are you going to bet on?
Meili's definite. Manna would be much bigger, but I wouldn't bet against it, but it's a lower chance of success than Meili.
High risk. Right.
Well, it's not high risk now. We've de-risked most of the things.
Okay.
The question now is whether we're a $1 trillion business or a $10 billion business.
Okay, so I'm going to share with you some Irish proverbs.
Yeah.
And
Jesus. In Irish.
Yeah, I am actually. I'm partly Irish.
I
They
know,
say,
yeah, I know.
So all the world's a stage, and most of us are desperately unrehearsed. Apparently, somebody Irish said that. What would you like to be better rehearsed on?
What would I like? I'd like to have some financial understanding of numbers. I'm shit with numbers. I mean, that's
So
the
am I.
truth. I mean, I think to be this, I'm a CEO of a business now, and I'm highly underqualified. And me and Mike were a great balance running CarrTroller because there was almost no overlap between our skills. And I have a huge amount of gaps. I'm quite narrow focused skill set. So I'm perfect for the job now for Manna, and I complement Mike well and Meili. And I've always had co-founders in my previous businesses. This is the first time I don't have a co-founder, and I don't like that. I really don't enjoy that as much. And if you ask me why I don't enjoy it, I'm not sure, because Mike was always a pain in the ass. But
Ass again. What's this with asses?
I don't know. I'm working on my ass. I don't know if you've noticed. When I'm walking off the stage, I'm sure everyone's going to be looking, but...
I know what to do when you walk off the stage, but okay, let's go to the next Irish proverb. Better be a man of character than a man of means. You've got means. What else would you like to build about your character?
I'm happy with my character, and my KPI for that is I still have all my old friends from when I was young, and my family like me still. I think that Irish people don't get away with becoming successful and changing. I think it's important value for me that I'm grounded and still normal person. And if you come to Ireland, you'll see why I get absolutely no respect from anyone.
All right, finally, a good laugh and a long sleep are the best cures in the doctor's book. So what makes you have a good laugh?
Where are you getting all these proverbs from?
AI.
This is AI. What was it? Good laugh and a long sleep?
Yeah.
No, it's not that. It's a good laugh and a great ride. And anyone that knows Ireland knows that that's not a mobility journey.
All right, thank you, Bobby. I have to end here, much as I love to continue the conversation.
Talk forever.
And when you walk away from me, can you walk backwards, please?
Yeah. That's okay where I come from.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you.